everybody, and welcome back. So my father just came by and dropped off a bit of a gift, and Kim came with him. So check it out, they got us 100,000 balloons.
Because we have 100,000 subscribers! Woo! How did that happen?
I have to say, I didn't know that it was quite as big of a milestone as I guess it really is. Supposedly we get a plaque thingy?
Yeah, we get a silver one.
A silver one.
A silver plaque.
So I'm being told. But yeah, that's a lot of people. It's a big enough number I can't wrap my head around what even 100,000 people would look like. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So very much. When we started this, we never thought that this would be more than just a few dedicated people really enjoying the house. That, you know, maybe some people would get something out of it. And it's grown to be so much more than that. So for all of the people who've helped this far, which is not even very far yet, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you guys all so very much.
Thank you for watching.
It's made this journey very, very enjoyable. So we appreciate it. Thank you guys so very much. And let's get on with this week's episode because there's a lot to cover. So let me show you the vast amount of things that have actually happened over the past 2 weeks. A lot of things have happened. So let's start off first with one of my biggest conundrums that I'm having with this house. It all starts with this lamp right here. You may ask yourself, why is this a conundrum? Well, because this lamp is original to the house, and it's a pretty rare one. The reason being is because it has both the gas and electrical. I flip-flop those, but you get the idea. Ones that point up are gas, ones that point down are electrical. It causes one major problem, and that problem is the fact that do I go with the earlier gas or do I go with the more modern electrical? Because these fixtures themselves are really difficult to find with both. Can they be found? Yes. Can they be found for a reasonable price? Not often. And this is such a grand little chandelier that, and it's the entryway chandelier, so of course it would have been a nicer one, but how do you fit something with this aesthetic? I want this aesthetic for all of my lighting, and it's rather hard to achieve. So let me show you some of the lighting I've been starting to pick out. On this table, I have a lovely assortment of various gasoliers and a few electric sconces. Of course, nothing will stay gas in this house. Everything will be electrical, but having the gas fixtures is, what makes the style of the house. So, starting over here, we have this guy, which, of course, would hang from a large tube here, which is here. I just don't have it all completely together. This one perplexes me a bit, though, because the shades are also brass. And the reason you have glass shades is so light will emit from them. So I'm not exactly for sure how this works, but I found it rather interesting. It's really ornate. It's, of course, rather pretty. But I don't exactly know how this works. It is a gasolier, but I guess it just illuminates the ceiling and not the floor or the rest of the room. This is a pretty basic gasolier here. Got your keys. All the keys work, although these ones are a bit stiff here. And that would turn your gas off and on. Same thing with this one here, except the keys on this one are on the sides. This one's actually pretty nice. I do think this one will for sure make the cut. I think this will be really cool in maybe the bathroom on the second floor or potentially even in the maid's stairwell, because it's not the most grand of anything, but it's a rather pretty one. And then I have this really cool sconce, which actually this shade here goes with, which is a rather pretty etched one with a bit of color in it. Actually, all the shades here, these shades here go with this guy here, which is really cool. And these are really pretty nicely etched. Let me see if I can get there you go. Now you can see some of the details in there. So I think that one's really pretty. And of course it's got the matching pair. So, and then these are some for this little sconce here, which has a lot of little East-Lakey details. These are actually, I have a pair of these for my library. They have been changed from an original gasolier because it does have the key to it, which you can see right here. And these are the shades that go with it, which are not half bad. And I can cheat a little bit in the library because that's kind of my personal, like, you know, office, if you will, anyways. Slash art studio slash whatever, whatever I really else want to use it for. Also, it will be a library. I do own a lot of books. So, this little guy here, which I think is really cool. It's got the little griffin on top. And aesthetically, I think it works with my house. It has some, oh, I don't know, somewhat Eastlake-y, somewhat Gothic. You know, the Victorians like to blend a lot of different styles. But this sconce here, will go right here on the first floor. This is right underneath my stairwell, next to our Harry Potter room, as everybody likes to call it. But you know, little sitting room here. I think it'd be cool to hang a magneto telephone here. And this sconce hanging out next to it. So this will be pretty cool there. So I've got that problem solved. So you guys will have to let me know what you think about my little predicament with the gas or electric or both. I am going to try to find as many of both as possible. But you know, let me know what you think. I think I'd rather lean to the older gas than lean into some of the newer electric stuff. Just mostly because of style-wise, the old gas stuff kind of looks like that piece where the new electric doesn't. I've seen some pieces that blend it, but yeah. So that'd be my guess. Or if you guys do find any really good deals on half gas, half electric chandeliers, please write those into the email below and send them to me. I'm always on the hunt, especially if it's pretty and not extremely expensive. On to the next little bit of information. I did get these actually just today. Today's Sunday. These are handrails. I didn't actually buy them for the handrail bit. I bought them for these brackets because these brackets are nice and they're adjustable and you can move them up and down. I have 4 of these. They're $5 each, so nothing, and they came with the handrails. I don't know what kind of wood these are. They are painted, so I'll have to strip them and see what's underneath them. I'm sure you guys like a good stripping montage, or I know you guys like a good stripping montage, so you'll get one of those at some point. But I think this will actually be perfect for the maid's hall. So I'll be hanging this at some point in the future from the beadboard. And I'm glad because that way I don't have to use modern, ugly-looking brackets, and I get something rather beautiful, which is nice. Plus the handrail isn't half bad either, provided it cleans up nicely. So yet to be seen, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. Now on to some of the bigger news of the week. I was actually offered an opportunity to have my house toured by another YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called This House. Ken and his team do an amazing job. They're really heavy into preservation, and they talk a lot about the history of St. Louis in the various neighborhoods. My neighborhood's in there, and they have a house tour, which of course I'm in. So if you want to go check that out, I know I haven't given you guys an update tour in a while, so there's one for you guys. Go send some love and support their way. They really are an amazing group of people, and they're very, very knowledgeable about the history of the city. And yeah, it's cool to meet some like-minded people who are really trying to push preservation in St. Louis. So please go check those guys out. They're wonderful, and I'm sure you guys will love it. It's right up your guys' alley. I also did get a P.O. box, and I'm gonna put the Chiron or whatever, a link here so you guys can see it. If you guys wanna send me something, cards, little stuff, that's open to you. I know a few people have asked for it. That's why I'm doing it. I'm not asking for anybody to send me anything. You know, it's a completely optional thing. I will not think any differently of you either way. I know I appreciate you guys regardless. But you know, just in case somebody wants to send something, you're more than welcome to do so. Do never feel obligated to have to do anything. I feel weird even talking about it, but it's there if you guys want to send something over. If you guys do, thank you in advance. And maybe in the future, if you guys would like, maybe we could open and read letters in a Q&A style format, just like we used to do. We'll try to get back to that as well. I know a few of you guys have been asking what happened to those, and it's just timing, really. So for the biggest project this week, I need to meet you guys down in the basement. So let's do that. Here we are down in the basement, and you might have noticed the church pews have moved. You may ask yourself, why have they moved? They have moved because we have a trench. A really long one, actually. So this is my new sewer lateral. The old one was quite busted. And yeah, to be able to use the water in this house, I needed a new sewer line. So this is it. It's coming from the stack that goes to the second story bathroom, which is that pipe right there. That's the brand new one. The cast iron one was cracked here at the base, and this one was clogged beyond repair. It's also 130 years old. So, you know, I don't expect these things to last forever. Things do have a lifespan. But as you can see, they've really dug this guy out. And oddly enough, I didn't find any more of that wooden floor under here. The guys didn't. But what we did find, what I find very odd, is I found beams like this. And a lot of them they just cut through because it made life easier. But why those are here, I'm not sure. Again, maybe there was something differently configured. Maybe this was a wooden floor at one time and somebody then just concreted over it. You can see a bit of a beam right there that they'd cut through to put the pipe in. But yeah, I find that kind of odd. And you can see the other part of the stack here. So this is the second stack for the house. We are adding a branch off of one, but not a full new stack. And then it leads through here, through this back door, and into another little drain pipe there, which will be the base of this landing here. This is a little set of stairs to the backyard. This is directly below the kitchen here. It's a little deck that comes off the back of the kitchen. And yeah, heads out back that way towards the alley. So I know, it's a hole in the ground. But this is the next step for me to have a bathroom. This is the first step for me to really have good running water in this house. It's the first step to having the kitchen done, the bathrooms and all this stuff. It's a monumental step. It's the systems. I mean, the systems are, you know, one of the hardest things about the house. So the things I cannot, well, don't have the knowledge for and can't legally do myself. So, I mean, these things going in, this always makes me happy. And next week, the electrician comes by, and that will make me really happy because I'm sick of running on such limited electrical in this house. And again, like after that goes in, I can start putting ceilings back up. I have to wait a little bit for HVAC on certain areas, but things start going back together. All these holes and cracks and everything start to be, you know, it's on me then at that point. I'm not waiting on somebody else to finish anything. It's my time to get the things done. And so, yeah. Huge steps this week. A lot of behind the scenes managing, you know, different contractors and the electrician, the plumbers, all the guys that do the rock, the guys that are going to come in here and do the concrete and fill this whole trench on Monday. So yeah, I feel like it's a really big step. I can't wait to be able to have a restroom here. It's been really rough on occasion not having one here and working here as much as I do. So yeah, very exciting stuff. And since the electrician's coming tomorrow, let me show you what I got in the mail today as well. So you guys know me, I try to keep things as authentic as possible. And you're like, well, Caleb, you know, a lot of your electrical switches have been replaced with normal ones. Aha! But I plan to replace them back with all push buttons. Now, of course, these don't feel quite as nice as the old school ones. I can attest because a few of the ones that I have in here that work are really cool. But these have the modern safety features and all that stuff. And again, let's not burn the house down over aesthetic sort of thing. So, you know, modern switch goes in the plate. Nobody can tell the difference. Yeah, these are going to be just add a level of aesthetic amazing to the house. So very excited about that. So now on to the stuff I've done this week. So roll the time lapses and I'll be right back with you guys. As per usual, I've been messing with Plaster, as you guys saw in the time lapses. But a bit of a learning curve was, well, pressed this week, let's say. It's really hot in St. Louis, as it's hot in most of the country and probably whatever country you're in. Unless you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's probably also been really hot. Plaster doesn't seem to like to work when it's hot. It dries really quickly, it cracks, it becomes hard to work with. And so things have been a little, well, rocky for me, let's say, this week. I have figured it out, and I did figure out the solution, but it took me a second. But that's to be expected. I'm glad that I now know how to do it properly when the weather's hotter versus when it's not hot. So, you know, you learn something new every week, and this is my learning experience for this week. So let's start off with the wall that did go well. This is above the fireplace here, yay! Now this wall is just about as smooth can be. Again, I do wish you guys could touch it because nobody believes me until they come up here and visit and then touch it, they're like, wait, how did you do that? So, you know, looking pretty good. You see different colors in it, and that's just, you know, how it dries. No problem there. There's a little bit of moisture in the darker spots. This wall did well. This wall over here, not so much. Let me explain the problem. So essentially, this plaster is a lime veneer gauged with gypsum plaster. The gypsum helps it with strength, and it also makes it dry faster. Now in the winter, or you know, spring, when I was doing the stuff in the maid's hall, it wasn't drying quickly, and it wasn't drying so fast that I couldn't get it on the wall. And when you add more gypsum, you have way less working time. So to give myself more working time, I use more lime and less gypsum. Now the problem with adding so much lime in this context is the fact that it dries up really quickly. And lime tends to shrink slightly when it dries. Gypsum does the opposite. It tends to expand slightly when it dries. When you mix them both together, you kind of get the best of both worlds. Nothing fluctuates that much, therefore very little cracking. But because it's so hot, I've been trying to extend the time I have to work with the plaster, and therefore using more lime. Well, that caused a problem. As you can see, I've done some patching here, and this is not smooth. This is really rough, and that's because this is a patch. Because what happened here is exactly what happened here. As you can see, that's the mesh. And it's just kind of chipped and fallen off here. As you can see a little bit above it, that patch right there, that's all cracked, wanting to come off. And it's because it shrunk so fastly. It sucked so much moisture out of the plaster that it's, yeah, it didn't hold. So the trick for this, if you guys are ever encountering this problem, is to A, mix more gauging plaster or more gypsum plaster into your lime veneer. It will stop this problem. Also, if you're working in a really hot place, run a little AC like this in the room you're working on for at least an hour before you start. So yeah, this causes delays. You have to kind of babysit the walls when it's hot like this, but I have figured out how to do it. It did take, like I said, a while to figure it out, but we're back on the right track. You know, bumps on the road will always happen, and you know, that's just how she goes. So guys, that is going to do it for me this week. I do hope you all enjoyed. It's been a fun week, well, a week and a half or so. I'm glad to be back at the house working again. You know, vacations are fun, but I think I almost have more fun working here, if you can believe it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, for wanting to support me. I mean, your views do a lot of support morally and with YouTube monetarily, and me and Kim and I cannot thank you guys enough for that support, to tuning in all the time, to being so enthusiastic, and to, you know, say things like, we brighten your Monday mornings. Like, that's awesome. I'm glad that so many of you guys are so interested in the history of these homes and so much. Again, guys, I never have the right words. You know that. But sincerely, and I know I say it every week, we appreciate you guys. So thank you. And we'll catch you guys again next week. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.